Yeah, hi team. So I think we can go and start the session. Meantime, if others are available, they can join the session. Let me share my screen. So before start of the session, if anyone has any questions, let me know. We can go and take those questions first. Okay, so I will log in into this one. I will log into our environment database also. So I can save that password here so that okay, we don't have to log in again and again. So where we have that ATP. Yeah, this one. We can do the save so that okay, we don't have to enter testing and we can do connect. So yesterday, right, we are able to see how that we can go and access the ATP instance and what all things we can go into that one, right? So today we'll see, right, the basic thing, right, the creator functionality. So how we can go and do the creator functionality with the help of voicing, right? So what is this creator functionality? So creator functionality is nothing but like create, update, read, update, delete, right? So we have this creator functionality, right? Or let me use the notepad, right? So create is for the creation, right? If we wanted to insert anything, right? So create we can do with the help of insert a script. Then R is read. So how we can do the read, right? So we can do the read with the help of select statement. Then update we can do with the help of update statement only. Sorry, right? And then the next we have is like delete, right? So we can do with the help of delete command. So we'll see, right, all these four, right, how we can go and do in the OIC. So we can come here into our integration. So connection we already have, which we have defined. So today, right, we'll go and create our create functionality. So we can say create, or we already have used that yesterday one, right? So what we do, right, we can go and utilize that only. So we can make a clone of this one. We can write 49. And first we wanted to do select operation, right? So we wanted to do all the operations first we wanted to see, right? So we can say select operation. We can put into our package and clone, right? So we can come here and in the ATP call, right? So what we have done right here, we have started this one, then we have called the ATP and then we have done the response. Or just to give you example, right? We can start from scratch only so that okay, you have We can delete this one. Application underscore select operation ATP 49. We can go and put the 21 package and create. Right. So what we do, right? First we'll go and start with our trigger connection. So we can go and use our trigger connection for the first to start our integration. So we can say slash start. We can say next and relative endpoint we are give slash start. We can go and use this as a get method for now. We say we need the response. We can say continue. And then right, what we do right here, we can go and define the response. So we know right, we are going to use the same table only. Whatever the script we have done right yesterday. So we'll go and use this same table only. No. Right. So we wanted to use this only. So from this one, right, what all records will come, right? So this is the data which will come. So we can give JSON. We can write employees array. Then we can go and put into that one. And what all we have, right? We have employee ID. And that is going to be number. And we have employee name. Right. So this is what we have. Our JSON will look like. We can say continue, continue, and finish. We can go and change the layout. We can add the business identifier. And save. So basic thing we are able to do, right? Now we wanted to do, right, the select operation from the table, right? So what we do, right, we can come here and we can use our DB connection. And what we do, right, we can say here ATP call. And if you see right here, three things we have, right? We can convert call a procedure. It means if we have any PL SQL code and all, right, we can go and call that one. We can run a SQL statement or we can do the perform on an operation, right? So first we go with this one, right? What all operations we can go and do on the table, right? Perform in operation, right? So once we do, right, if you see it, what all the options came here, right? Same CRUD option operations, right? So it means like it will come as an inbuilt only, right? We can go and do these CRUD operations. So we don't have to write the query and all, right? So if we one way, right, we can come, we can write our own query, or the second option, right, we can come and we can go and use the operations. So if you say it in this one, only one operation is not supported, which is the delete one. And instead of that one, right, the another operation came as a merge, right? So what we can do, right, we can insert, update, insert or update or select, right? So these four operations we can do. So first we wanted to interested into the select operation. So we can come here and we can write our select operation. Now we can go to the next. And then right here we need to give the schema, right? Like from where we wanted to do this one, right? So first we can go and select our schema, which is that admin. So we can come and see here admin schema, right? Then we can go and do the table name. So if we know the table, right, directly we can go and give. Otherwise we can go and put the search here. So once we put search, right, what will happen, right? All the tables it will come here. Whatever the tables we have, right? So all those tables it will go and start showing here, right? So whatever our table name is, right, it is test B21, right? So what we do, right, we can come here and we can write here test percentage. So what will happen, right? It will go and do filtering. So if you see, right, test B21, right? So this is our table. So we can go and see next. So it means we have selected. Now after this one, right, we don't have to press the continue directly. If you see it, after the selection of the table, right, we have to use the import table. If suppose I will do continue directly, right, we will get that error. So if you see it, you see right, okay, I have selected all right, why I'm getting error. So this error you are getting because of this one, right? So after selection, we have to go and click into import table, right? So we can say, if you select here also it is mentioned same, right? Please make sure that, okay, you have selected the necessary table. Once selected, table can be imported by clicking on the import button, right? It means we just have to done the selection, right? But we are not imported into our, right? But okay, this table we wanted to do. So we can say import table. So if you select here, it will go and ask what is the primary key. So suppose this pop-up right will come only if there's no primary key to your table. If you see right in our table, right, there's no primary key, right? We have not created any primary key and all, right? So it will come. So we can say ID is a primary key. Then we can say continue, right? Then what will happen, right? It came to the operation into this one, right? So it is selecting that, okay, we wanted to do this one. And then if you wanted to make it some parent-child relationship, right, you can go and make. If suppose you don't want to put all the right, so if you three sections we have parent-child relationships, then filtering the column, right? If suppose we don't need all the columns, right? So we can go and filter it out, right? So you can click into this one and you can say, suppose if we don't need this name, right? We can go and disable, right? So we can go and filter out that, okay, whichever columns we need or whichever columns we need not need. Because when we write our custom query, right? What we do, right? Either we can do select star from table, right? So it will go and fetch everything. Or if suppose 10 rows are there, right? Only 5 we need, right? So we can write select column 1, column 2, column 3, column 5, right? So like that one, we can go and select which all columns we need to see, right? So we can do that one. We can say continue. Then the last is like, suppose if you wanted to edit the SQL query, right? If suppose we wanted to do any filtering, right? So we can go and add the filtering here, right? We can go and write some logic so that, okay, it will go and fetch only that particular record. And if suppose it is getting too many records, right? So we can go and put the limitations also that, okay, max, right, how many rows it can go and fetch, right? So that, okay, it will not go and cross that limit. So that is what we can go and do, right? So these filters and all, right, we'll go and put later. First we'll go with the default options. Now once we do all this configuration, right, we can say continue. Now what happened, right? We came to the summary page, right? And if you said what is a SQL query will be generated, right? So that SQL query it will go and show, right? It means the previous step, right? Whatever we did, right? So based on that one, right? This is a SQL query which it got generated, right? Now we can say finish, right? So we can go and save. Now what happened, right? If you see, right? We got the response into this one, right? So we can go to this mapper field and here, right, we can go and do the mapping here. So in the response, right, we'll get that one, right? In the response, right, if you see it, the output will be created with the table name. If you see test B12 OIC collection, once you go into this one, right, so the table name will come as a array, right? Test B12 01. So now we can come here, we can come to the response and we can go and map here one by one. Employee ID, employee name, and then employee to employee, right? We can go and do the validate. We can come back, right? Now we can go and save, right? So this is what we are able to do, right? In the select operation, right? How we can go and do. Now let me go back and we can go and test it out once. Refresh. We can go and run. So if you see, right, we are able to get all the records from that one, right? So it means like, if you see it in this case, right, we have not written even the query also, right? So in the database operation, if you have to write SQL query, you can write. If you don't want to do with that one, right, you cannot, like you can go and do without also, right? So that is what we have. Now suppose if we go and add some more columns into the table, right? Then what all the changes we need to do, right? So we can come here, table, and we can go to the test. So this is our table, right? So what we do, right? We can go and add some more columns into this one, right? So we can come here and we can say add column. So we can say job. So we need to give the scale. So it got created new column. Job, right? We can go and add one more column. Salary. This is going to be number. We can supply. So it got created, right? So this is what we are able to write. We are created these four columns. Now suppose like if you said if we can go and add the constraint also. So add primary key. So we can say pk test p21 underscore 01, right? We are creating primary key and we can go and use id as a primary key. We can go and do the refresh. So if you said this time, right, we have added the primary key and all into our table, right? So this time if I will go and use this operation, right, what will happen, right? So it will not ask that primary key thing, right? Now what we do, right, we can come here and we can make a clone of this one. 50 B21 and clone. If I will go and delete this one, right, and try to create again, right? We can go and delete this one. And now what we do, right, we will go and create again the TTP call. So TTP call. We can go into that operation again. We can write select statement, continue, select the schema, admin. Then in the table, right, we can say test percentage and search. It will come our table. We can do import. So if you see this time, right, it will not ask that primary key thing, right? So if the table has the primary key, right, it will go directly. If you see, it has not asked, right? Why? Because the primary key was already there. Now in this one, right, what we do, right, if you see, right, if suppose salary we don't want to show, right, so we can go and disable this one, right? So what will happen, right, the query will be generated only for this one, right? Select ID, name and job. And if you see whatever the primary key you have selected, right, so that will come always, right? So that we cannot go and do any check or uncheck, right? So for example, in this one, right, I will not bring the salary. We can say continue, right? Now what we do right here, we can come to the data and what we do, right, we can say here job, right? So we wanted to see all the records which has the job is null, right? Or we can go and pass here HR HR, and this I can write IT, right? And we can go into the save, right? So for example, right, we can say that, okay, wherever the HR, right, is there, right? So we wanted to see those record, right? Or for example, right, we can put into the salary condition, right? 1000, 2000, and 3000, right? So these are the columns what we have, right? So we can say, right, whichever has these columns, right? So only these things should come, right? So we wanted to put the condition right here. So we told that, okay, salary field we don't want to show, right? So we can do that filtering. And if you wanted to modify our query also, right? So we can come here. So if you say right here, select ID, name and job. If you see salary will not come. Why? Because we have disabled that one, right? Now if you have to put some condition, right? Where condition and all, right? So we have to go with this SQL edit option. And here we have to come. And what we have to do, right? First we have to create a variable here, right? So we can come here. We can write add a new. So we need to give the name here. So we can say p underscore salary, right? So parameter salary I'm creating, and I can say add a new. So what will happen, right? This is my parameter got created. Now this parameter I can go and use into my condition. So I can write here where salary, right? So first we can go and run this command, right, into our this one. So if you wanted to write, right, query, right, what it will be, right? Select ID name from this one where salary greater than, for example, right, we can say 2000. So only one record will come right here. Let me go and show you salary also for time being. And if you do right from this table directly, right, what will happen, right? We'll go and see all the records. Once we do condition, right, this one. If you wanted to parameterize, right, we can write p cell. So this time if I will run, right, what will happen, right? It will ask me the value, right? So I can enter 1000 or 100, anything, right? And I will say apply. So the corresponding will come, right? So in the SQL developer, right, we can go and put the parameter like this one, right? So it means this query is working fine, right? But like in the case of this one, right? In the here, right? What query we need to put, right? Salary greater than. So whatever the parameter name we have used, right? So that parameter we have to use, but we cannot go and use colon, right? Here we need to use the hash. For example, if I will use p underscore salary, right? So we have used this one, right? I can do continue, right? It will not give any issue and all, right? But what will happen, right? This will not go and work. So let us go and test it out once and continue. If you see, right, our query is this one, right? We can do the finish and save. And what I can do, right? I can go into the mapper. I can add two more fields because we got two more fields. We can write here job and salary. It's a number, right? So this is what we did. Continue, continue, and finish. Now what we do, right? We can come back again here. And if you see right now in the response wrapper, right? What will happen, right? We have this one. So we can go and map here the items what we have. So if you said in the query, right, we just have put only job, right? We have not put the selection in the salary, right? So what will happen, right? The salary will not come here. We can go and do the validate. Now come back. And we have pass here parameter, right? So what we'll do, right? We'll go our trigger point and we'll go and create one parameter also, right? So that, okay, we can go and accept the value. So I will write into this only. as a template parameter, I will say salary. Continue. It is going to be the integer. Continue and finish. Right now, whatever the we have created, so that needs to go here. So if you come here, right? So if you see, we are getting that p salary, right? Whatever we have created. So we can say that, okay, yes, in the template parameter we have, so we can go and pass that one. Validate. So validated. Now we can come back, save, and I can change the name. Like, okay, we are doing the select operation parameterized. We can just select parameter operation. So we can come back again here and activate. Now we can go and run this one. So we need to pass this one, right? So we can see here salary 1000 we can enter it. We can say run. So if you see it, what we are happening, right? We are getting that error, right? Missing in and out parameter, right? And where we are getting that error, right? So we are getting that error at ATP call. So if you see it, when we are trying to call that one, right? So that time, right, we are getting this one, right? So why we are getting this issue, right? Because whatever we have written that colon, right? So that is not the correct thing what we have, right? So it is like SQL query got failed, right? So now what we do, right? We can go and fix that one. Because if you said same parameter colon thing, right? It is working into the SQL developer. But that same thing, right? It will not work here. Here instead of the colon, right? We need to use the hash. So we can come back again here. Okay, I think I missed. Select operation. Continue. So we can come back to this edit. And here, right? SQL edit. And this condition, right? This was wrong. So we can write here hash. Now we can say continue. 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 So this is our query got generated. And we can do the finish. Save. Now we can go and try out again whether it's working or not. So we can say activate. And run. Now we can say run. This time if you say we are getting 200, okay, right? And if you see, right, 2 records we are getting. If I will write here 2000, so only one record it will come, right? So this is how it is working fine, right? So we know, right, the parameterized thing, right? We can go and add the column selection, right? In the table, if you have more columns, right? If we don't need all, right? So we can do the column selection. We can go and add the like condition into this one, right? So that is how we can go and use this the select operation. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. We can go and take those questions. Okay, so if no question, then we are able to do the select, right? Now we'll go and do the next operation, like how we can go and insert the data, right? So what I will do, right? I will just go and make a clone only. insert operation. And clone, right? So now what we do, right? We wanted to insert the record into the table. So what we have to do, right? We have to go and modify this one. So we can come into this one. And this time, right, in the operation, right, we don't have to use the select. We have to use the insert operation. So we can go and use insert operation. We can say continue. So again, we need to select, right, in which table and all, right? So we can write here admin table. We can say test percentage and search. So it will be the capitals, right? Okay, completely capitals. So if you set it here, it's not like that uppercase or thing, right? We need to write the exact word only, then only it will be. We can go and put that into the next. We can go and do the import table. Then operation, right? So if you see it for this one, right, what all things we can go and do, right? Again, we can go and select the parent child. We can go and do the filters that, okay, whichever columns, right? So whichever columns we wanted to do, right? We can go and select those one that, okay, these columns we wanted to insert. We can say continue. And then same thing, right? We can go and add the condition here. So if we have any sequence and all, right, so we can go and attach that sequence, right? So that, okay, it will go and auto trigger or auto create something, right? So if we need to put that advanced condition, right, we can go and put. Because in the case of insertion, right, there is no where clause and all, right? So the where clause is not come, but like if we have any sequence, right, which we wanted to use and all, right, so we can go and use that one. Now we can say continue and finish. So major endpoint changes, okay, apply. So what happened, right? If you see, right, the output, right? So from this one, right, the mapper gone, right? So we can go and create a mapper first. And for which activity we wanted to do mapper, right? ATP call, right? So we can go and select the ATP call. And if you say it, what all it will have, right? It needs to accept all this format, right? It means like it needs to have all these into this format, right? So it means like we need to show the data, right? It will, but as of now, right, we don't have the parameters, right? So we can come out and we'll do this later. Then we have one error into this also. So first we can go and see the response that, okay, what is that output we'll get from the ATP call. So if you see it, we just have a request, right? We don't have the response, right? So what it means, right? It means for the after insertion, right? We don't have any activity. So we can go and first delete this one, right? And if you said in the case of ATP, right? In the case of insertion, right? Insert or activity only will have, there is no response which will get. So we can come out here. First save. Now we need to pass the parameter, right? The records which we wanted to enter, right? So we can come here, continue. So we need to make this as a postman because we wanted to pass the values, right? So we can make this as a post and we don't need this salary right now, right? So we can go and remove this one. We don't need the parameter, so we can disable. We need the request payload and response payload. So I can go and copy the response payload. So we need to go and put this first. I can put just as of now, so that okay, I can go to the next step and I can go and copy. Continue, continue. And in the response, right, whatever we have, right, so we can go and take this one, right, because all these things we need for the our insertion purpose, right, because we will pass this value and those records needs to be inserted. So we can go back and we can go and add that response body here, right? Now we can say continue and continue. And in the response, right, what we do it, we know we don't need all these things. So what we do it, we can go and give one message only in the top. We can have this also. We can say message. And in this one, right, we'll go and enter the message field, right? So whatever message you wanted to show, right, so that we can go and show. We can say continue, continue, and finish. Now what we do, right, whatever we are getting from this one, right, we can go and map here so that okay, while inserting, right, we can go and pass that value. So we can come here and we will have in the request wrapper, we can go to the employees, right? So this is what we have, right? So we can map employee ID to the ID, employee name to the name, job to job, and salary to salary, right? So this is what we are able to do. Now we can go and map here collection, right? Array to array, right? If you see this time also here also it is array and here also it is array, right? So we can go and mention array to array object, right? So it means single insertion also we can do or multiple insertion also we can go and do. So we can do validate. Now we can come out. We can do the save. We can come to this mapper. And here, right, what we do, right, we can come back and we can go and give the message here that okay, insert completed successfully, right? Insert completed successfully. And in case, right, if you wanted to show, right, so we need to put into the single quotes as this is a string. Right. So now what we need to do, right, if you see, right, if we wanted to show that into this one, right, that okay, what all employees will be inserted, right? So that information also we can map, right? But in that case, right, we need to map from the this one, right, only. So either we can map with this one or request, right? So there will be no response whatever we are doing request, right? So those things only we can go and map here. So we'll not show anything. Validate. And save. So we are able to do, right? Now let us come out and see if we are able to test this one. Activate and refresh. Now we can go and run this one. So we need to pass the body, right? We need to give the information. So how many records we already have, right, into this table? So we have 3 records, right? So we can go and pass 4. Salary we can say 4,000. Job we can say admin. Name we can say Tim, right? So we can see first one record we are able to insert or not, right? So we can say run. So 200 okay, we are getting the system generated message that okay, inserted successfully. Now we can come here and we can go and validate. So if you see it, Tim, right? So new record got inserted, right? So it means like it is working fine. Now we can go and try to insert multiple records. So we can go and copy same thing, comma, and employee ID we can say 5, 5, 6. We can make 6,000. We can say 5,000. We can say developer, Stuart, let it have this also admin, and this we can say James. Now we can go and run. So we know, right? If you say, right, integration got completed successfully, right? So it means this operation is also done. We can come here. So if you said 2 records also created, right? 4 and 5, right? So it means if you said we are able to insert multiple records, right, without writing any logic, right? So by using that operations only, right, we can go and do the insertion so easily, right? So that is what we can go and do. Same thing, right? In case if you wanted to do the update, right? So we can go and use that update also. But in that case, right, what we need to do, right? We need to just change that operation. So let us go and do that one. We can make clone. And we can say update operation. We can go and put into our 21 OIC and clone. Right, so this is our new integration. We can come here. And what we need to do, right? We need to call here update activity. So we can come and insert instead of creation, right? We wanted to use the update operation. Now we can say continue. Same thing we can go and select here admin test percentage search import the table. So we don't want to put any condition and all, right? So if you see, we can come here. We wanted to do everything, right? So we can say cancel, right? So we are doing everything, right? Now we can say continue. So this is what we have done, right? We can say finish. Save. So if you said mapping, we don't have to do again because it is the same mapping, right? So if you said it is the same mapping what it was earlier, right? So no need to create a new mapping for that one, right? So we can come out and we can go and do the testing. Activate. Now we can come out again and do this one, right? Now we wanted to update, right? So what we do, right? We have to give the existing values, right? We don't have to go give any new values. So we can come here. And for number 1, right? We have Sam, IT and 3000, right? Salary. So we can give this value, right? 1000 Sam and job we can see null, right? Let me go and run this one. So if you see, we got 200, right? Message we have not saved, like updated, otherwise we could have updated. Now we can go and run this command. So if you see it, the values got changed, right? 1, Sam, IT and 1000, right? So this we are able to do, right? So this is how we can go and do the update, right? In case if you wanted to do multiple updates, right? So we can go and pass multiple also, right? For example, this I will say 2, right? So for second record also, right? Everything should be same, right? So if you see number 2, right? It is Steve HR, right? If I will go and run this one, right? What will happen, right? So record 2 will also be updated with the same information. So if you see, 2 also Sam HR 1000, 1 is also Sam IT 1000. So job we have not updated, right? So it will go and have the same value what it was there previously, right? Other columns whichever we are passing value, right? So those things it will go and change. Right? So this is what we can do. Now suppose if we give some value which is not there, right? 11 and 12. And if we can go and run it, what will happen? Our integration, if you see right, 200, okay. So what will happen, right? It will not go and update anything, right? Because there is no such record, right? So it means command will run, but there's no update will happen, right? So it will not go and error out that, okay, I'm not able to find out record and or because we are writing the update command, right? So whether it will update or not update it, but it will always give the in response that, okay, if it will find anything, it will go and update. If it will not find out anything, right, it will not go and update, right? So that is what we have, right? So this is what we have, the update operation we can go and do. So if you see it by using this seeded operation, right, no need to write any code and all, neither the SQL query nor anything, right? We can go and see by using the options only. Now we have the last option, which is a merge, right? So we can go and create a new clone and we can say merge operation.
Prashant, how we can update the value to null? Because I thought job, if you're not passing, it will update to null.
So null if you wanted to pass, right? So I think, let me create this first and we'll see. I think I explicitly either we have to give the null or null update is not possible. So we can go and test this again. So if I will give null for this one, so we'll get that error because it will accept the string. If we do this null, it will give the word as a null. So it got completed, but it will come as a null here. So this null is a keyword, right?
Yeah,
So I don't,
text.
yeah, so I don't think we can go and put null here. If you need to give, right, I don't know if we give the space right in between, it will go and accept. Let us see.
Yeah, but it will create a space.
Yeah, but like it will have as a space here. So in the case of a string, right, I don't think we can go and make this as a null directly from here.
Can we pass any functions?
Function in the sense like PL SQL code.
Yeah.
No, not here. We can go and
Yeah.
call the PL SQL code independently.
No.
Yeah. So if you see it, when we have that option, right, the first option, let us come and see this merge. So this is our one. So if you wanted to call the PL SQL, right, so the first, right, invoke a stored procedure. So this will call the function and packages all. Then last operation we have the insert or update, right? So this is a merge. So what will happen, right? If you see, right, in this one only insert will happen. In this one only update will happen. This will do both the activity same, right? So suppose if I will say that, okay, if suppose some data is there, right, we need to insert. If suppose some data is not there, like if suppose data is there, we need to update. If not there, need to insert, right? It means we need to write some logic and all, right? First we have to check, right, whether the item is there or not. If it is there, then we need to do, right? But Oracle has done like one operation itself as a merge. So this will automatically take care of that one. So behind the scene, right, the logic is there. So it will automatically take that, okay, whether this is insertion or updation. If it will find the record, it will do update. If it will not able to find out the record, right, it will go into the insert. So we can say continue. Same thing it is going to be again, admin, test, percentage, search. We can select this one and import table. So you can go and add advanced condition, the same sequence, right? Because we are doing the insertion else, right? Now we can do continue and finish. Save. We can come out and we can say activate. Now we can go and run the page. So we have this record, right? So one record we already have, right? So we can do this one. And then I will go and add a new record, right? So with 11, right, we don't have any ID. If I will go and run, right? So with the 11, if you set, there is no ID. And with 1 we have, right? So I can give this as 9,000. Job I can say CEO. And I can give this as John, right? So what I'm doing, right? I am putting some value which is there, some value which is not there, right? Now what will happen, right? When we do no, right? When we are doing insert only, right? It was inserted. When we are doing update, right? It was doing only update if it will find, right? But in this case, right, what will happen, right? It will go and do both the activities. If you see, it got completed 200, okay. Now if I will go and see right here and run the command. So what will happen, right? New record got inserted. If you see it, new record got inserted. What is the next thing, right? If you see one, right? One John CO 9,000, right? It means update also happen and insert also happen, right? So this is how we can go and do both the activities, right? Insert also we can do or update also we can go and do. So that is what the merge operation. So that merge operation, right? We don't have any such function directly in the even in the database also, right? Which will do the merge and all. But in the OIC, right, we have that function, so we can do the merge. So if you see it from the credo functionality, right, we are able to create, we are able to insert, we are able to select, we are able to update, right? But if you say delete, we cannot go and do in the with the help of operation, right? So only what we do, right, instead of delete, right, in the credo operation, right, the fourth operation is a merge, right? So now that is what we can go and do with the help of operations. So in the operations, right, we just have to go and use the graphical user interface. We just have to go and use that options. No need to create, write any SQL query and all, right? So that is what we can go and do. So we can wrap up the session today here only. Tomorrow we'll see whatever we are doing with the help of operation, right? Same thing in case if you have to do, right, with the SQL statement, right? How we can go and do, right? And we'll see, right, when we need to go for the select statement, like SQL statement. Because in the operation, right, we can go and do straightforward options. But when sometime it will be complex and all, right? So that time, right, we need to write our custom query. So when you need to write your custom query, right? So we should know, right, that okay, how we can go and utilize the insert operations, delete operation right there. So tomorrow we'll see, right, how we can go and use the SQL statement in OIC. So
Yeah,
any
so
questions if anyone?
in case of SQL statement, do we need to import all the tables which are in this SQL?
No, like whatever the record you write, only one statement we can go and enter. So one insert script we can write and we can go and enter the data into the table.
Because there when we are selecting the table, right?
Yes.
So
in the in the SQL statement, right, we know there is no thing, right? Directly SQL box will come and whatever your query you will write, right? So that will be going to be executed. Because in this case, right, what we do behind the scene, the SQL query is generating based on whatever options we are selecting, right? SQL query is generating behind the scene. But in SQL statement, right, what we'll do, we itself are writing the query. So whichever table you wanted to use, you can use. Anything you can go and use there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So any question, if anyone has whatever we have covered from that one, we can go and take those questions now. And I think yesterday I have shared the ATP credentials or not.
In WhatsApp. I didn't see
Yeah.
it.
Did I
No,
share or not? Okay, not
no.
shared. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay, I will share just after the call so that okay, you guys can go and start doing the practicing in case if you wanted to do.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Any other questions if anyone has? Okay, so if no question, then I think we can wrap up the session today here only. We'll connect tomorrow, same time, and we'll see further topic. Thank you all.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.